What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and in today's YouTube video, we need to talk about the shinier hours that will be going on later today. Now, of course, this is another typical power hour. However, there's some slight changes to it and some little pieces of information I feel like you guys need to know. So let's just kind of talk about all of it. Firstly, as you guys may or may not recall, when it comes to these power hours, especially the shiny hours, Epic Games makes every single variant of sprite more common. This means if you've been missing out on certain sprites, such as, like the Galaxy versions or the hollow foil versions, during a shiny hour is your time to actually grab those because they'll become insanely easy to actually get. Because whenever you open up a chest or get a sprite drop, instead of it mostly being a common version, it's basically a 30% chance across the board, or I guess 25% chance that it's any of the other versions, giving you a super high chance of getting Galaxy, hollow foil, cube, or whatever other sprite variant that you do end up actually wanting. However, there is a slight catch this time around, and it's a little bit of a sad one. So firstly, during the shiny hour, even though cube sprites have recently released into Fortnite, it will not include cube sprites. So if you've been hunting down and trying to find the cube variants, you're going to not be able to find them. They're still just going to kind of be rare. And I think that sucks a little bit because, it doesn't make sense for a shiny hour, which is themed around grabbing all the new sprite variants, to not include the newest sprite variant in it. And with previous power hours and stuff, whenever they went ahead and released a new sprite variant, that one basically instantly got a power hour the next day, or I guess next week or whatever else. And this is kind of like the week of or week after the cube variants release, so why aren't they included in the sprite variant system? Why is it something where, for a shiny hour, they're just not going to include it at all? I'm not really entirely for sure. Maybe you guys can speculate about that in the comments down below, but I did think it was just a little bit odd to see them kind of neglect the cube sprite, and I've seen a lot of people talk about how the cube sprite feels like it hasn't even been showing up in matches for people, when it's just like any of the other variants, right? Maybe it has like a super rare chance of spawning, maybe they're trying to have like artificial rarity or something, but I just don't get why you would do artificial rarity to something that's going to basically change or reset next season anyways. Now, in terms of the timing and everything for this power hour, it's the typical starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, all the way to having another one again at 9 p.m. Eastern Time to 11 p.m. Eastern Time, but they do have some extra gimmicks to go ahead and enable when you're actually in this power hour. Firstly, one of the cool gimmicks that they're going to do, and one of the things I actually think is kind of cool, is the big head mode from the April Fool's event that we had this year. That one is actually going to be returning, so everyone will actually have the big head mode enabled on them while doing this power hour. And not only that, you'll also drop in with a self-revive device, so you'll be able to land those headshots but keep your own head down if you get downed once or twice, right? It's kind of like the, hey, everyone's able to get their head shot out, but you have another chance of surviving and dodging or whatever else. They also mentioned that the Batman, Polo 7, and Air sprites will become way more common, being the perfect time to extract them if you haven't already. So it's interesting to see that they're not making the cube variants more common, but they are making the new sprites that released more common. Weird discrepancies here. I don't know why Epic Games is trying to act like this cube variant in like some cases doesn't exist but does exist at the same time. But other than that, they go on to mention that Gold, Gummy, Galaxy, and Hollow Foil variants will appear more often than during last weekend's event, meaning not only is this going to be more common than the previous shiny hour, but they're going to be even more common, meaning that basically every chest is going to have every single version of those sprite variants that you could possibly want. Makes me wonder, what is the rarity chance of even getting like a cube variant during this power hour? Is it something that if you're missing a cube variant you should even participate in? I have no clue. They also mentioned that during this power hour you're twice as likely to find sprites in regular chests, so that's pretty cool. So you'll basically be able to find sprites in everything you're opening. If you're using a hollow foil sprite, you're going to be finding them non-stop basically. So if you are missing some of those Galaxy variants or whatever, this might be the time to go ahead and grind out, equip a hollow foil sprite and do the power hours. But I do think it's a little weird how they're going ahead and doing it. They're like, hey, all these different sprites, Air sprites, Polo, 7, Batman, you can find them super common. But if you're trying to find, like a cube sprite, sorry, I've never heard of that one in my life. I'd like to hear in the comments down below, what do you think about these power hours? What do you think about how Epic Games is treating this new one? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you wish they would just release something like the Lucky Locator? My worry when it comes to that Lucky Locator item that we talked about before, where we'll actually show you like a specific location in not Save the World, but in Battle Royale, is the fact that by the time it gets added, we're probably only going to be able to get like 3 of them, if that, because, afterwards it's just going to kind of be over with. The season will end, we'll go into the next one. So it makes me wonder, how easy is it even going to be to get a lucky locator? Is this even something that we should be hoping for when we're trying to get those final sprite variants? Or is it something where maybe we'll get like 2 sprites out of it before the season actually ends? Who knows? But until next time, hope you champs and champions enjoyed today's YouTube video. Hope you find some good sprites during this power hour, and I'm going to be playing it just to see if by some rare chance I can get at least 1 cube sprite, because believe it or not, I haven't gotten a single cube sprite yet. Until next time, however, I'll catch you champs and champettes a little bit later in another upload, so until then, peace out.